Hey guys, I'm back. Really ready this time. Behind the concealer, uncut for real. So I know I had made a video since like 2015 when I first started sharing my story, my perfect storm regarding my ex-husband and the things that I went through, the things that I endured. And I stopped. I only made like 2 videos. I spoke at a conference, but I stopped. I stopped my car chronicles. I stopped even trying to be an advocate for what I knew I believed in. I stopped because the abuse hadn't stopped. My story hadn't ended. That chapter that I started talking about had ended, but life kept going for me. And unfortunately, my life kept going in a downward spiral. But guess what? I'm ready. I'm back to who I am. I'm back to who I know I am. I'm the queen that I've always known I was. So now I'm really in rare form. I have to do what I'm called to do. This is my passion. I keep telling myself, I'm reminded of a scripture my grandfather used to always quote. And it says something like, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. For when night comes, no man can work. And that scripture has been with me every day, all day for the past month or so. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So what better time to go ahead and get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. So to start this off, I asked my daughter, Jasmine, to be a part of this first video because she went through a lot of these things. The things that I talked about, she went through a lot of it with me. When I say she went through it with me, she was there. She witnessed a whole lot of it. She witnessed a lot more than I even care to remember. So she and I are going to have a conversation about the things that we went through together, how she felt about it then, and how she feels about it now. Because I have to keep reminding myself, not only do I have a daughter, my daughter has a daughter, I have a granddaughter. And that cycle has to be stopped. It has to be broken. It has to be broken. And I have to start with me. I started with me. So, you ready, Jasmine?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I don't know where you want to start. So let's just start from the beginning, when it first started.
Okay.
We're not going to go through everything, but just you were there with me through a lot of it. And I just want to know what your feelings were then about the situation and about me, and then how you feel now.
About the situation, I was always angry and upset because I felt like you were allowing this to happen. Like you were putting yourself through this, or you were putting us through this. Like we didn't have to go through that. Now looking back on it, I get it now because I'm a woman. So I've been through things myself. I've experienced things. So it's like, I kind of understand why. I understand now, but I mean...
You understand what? And what do you understand?
I understand why it wasn't exactly easy to just walk away. So easy to just walk away. You couldn't just, pack up and say, I'm leaving.
I did one time.
You did.
But I went back.
That's what a lot of women do.
And that was before we got married. I went back. Because those words, they know what to say. He knew what to say. He knew what to say to me. And that's being a narcissistic person. He knew what I needed, because I had shared all of my deepest desires, my dreams, my goals. I was my most vulnerable self with him, because I thought I was able to. I should have been able to be my most vulnerable self with him. So I shared a lot of my past hurts with him, and he used those against me. So I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I apologize. I'm so sorry that I put you and Anthony through what I went through. But mostly because you were there. And like you said, now you're a woman and you've gone through certain things. And sometimes I wonder if I had somebody to tell me or to talk to me or pull my coattail and say, hold up, LaRonda, this is not what I have accepted to help or what I have pushed them away. Mm-hmm. So, with all that being said, that was then, this is now. I'm not that person. I'm glad, for whatever reason, people may not understand what I'm about to say, but I'm not glad I went through those things, but because I went through those things, I am who I am today. Tiffany Haddish said something. I watched her and Kevin Hart on an interview on the Breakfast Club, and she was asked how does she feel about haters, about the people that's in her corner sometimes, and the next time they're against her. And she said, I remember I grew up in the foster system, is what she said. So I remember being placed with one family and thinking that was going to be my permanent home, and I was jerked away and yanked and put somewhere else. I remember my mama calling me out my name or calling me a bitch and telling me she hated me, and then the next second telling me she loved me. So I was used to that. So I felt like I went through those things back then to prepare me for what I'm going through now. And that made a whole lot of fucking sense to me. I've gone through so many things that I tell people my life is like a movie. A movie I would pay to watch. I would pay to watch the fucking movie, for real. For real, my life is, some things I could talk about and people be like, you lying, that didn't happen. But I've gone through so many things. That's why I'm able to be the person that I am today. I can look back and say, I went through that. I'm glad I went through that because now I know how to handle this. Or I can help this person. I can help my daughter. I can help my granddaughter. I can help my friends. It's people that I work with that I know for a fact are in domestic violence situations, but I have not gone to them. They've not gone to me. That's a tricky subject because you don't know how to approach that. Like I said, I didn't have anybody. My neighbors, after the fact, they told me they knew. They told me they would hear stuff. They would hear to know us. We had a handyman on speed dial who would come to my house and have to patch up holes in the walls and knew what was going on, but refused to speak up. When I asked them to even testify for me in court, they refused. So I wonder if I had somebody to be there for me. I had a couple good friends back in Texas when I was going through. They gave me some real good advice as to what to do. They prepared me. They gave me the steps to take. But they wanted to stay behind the scenes. They didn't want to be, they didn't want me to say who they were. They didn't want to help me in the open. But I do appreciate them. I still appreciate them because I was still able to get out of that thing the way I got out of it. And I also want to ask my daughter, I wonder the way I got out of it. Yes, I cried out to God and asked him to remove me from this situation. But I wonder if it was up to me, would I still be in it? Would I still be in it right now? Would I still be in a situation if it was really up to me? Because I was forced out of that thing. Thank God I was forced out of it. But I wonder, would I still be in it? Jasmine, what do you think about abuse, period? I mean, not even what do you think about it, but firsthand, it's not just physical abuse. Mm-hmm. I've experienced the psychological abuse, mm-hmm. the mental abuse, the emotional, the financial abuse. Mm-hmm. You've witnessed a lot of that. What is your perception as a woman now? Because it's easy for somebody to say, a nigga couldn't do me, or a person couldn't do me like that, or I wish a motherfucker would, whatever, but I wouldn't put up with that until you're in that situation.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, everybody has their own story. Like, you never know what you'll do until you're put in that situation. I remember seeing you go through it, mm-hmm. and me saying, I'll never let a nigga, do me like that. I would never go through what she went through. But guess what? Mm-hmm. I went through it. Like, it happens. Life comes at you. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. You're just not going to walk away until you're ready.
Do you feel like you went, and see, thank you, I appreciate you for being so transparent and candid, because I wasn't going to bring it up, mm-hmm. if you didn't bring it up. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like you went through it because I went through it?
No. I think I went through because I didn't have a father in my life.
What does that have to do with it, not having a father? What do you think that has to do with it?
Me wanting love from a male. I've always had that love from my mom, but I've never had a man to love me. So when you're in a situation like that and you just want this man to love you, you start to accept anything. Just because you want to be with somebody or you want to feel loved or he's telling you, you know, he loves you and he wants to be with you and tickling your ear.
Tickling your ear.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell you.
Right.
Tickling your ear.
So I think that's a lot of problems with a lot of women because they didn't have that father figure.
Absent fathers.
Yeah.
So now, you went through that was then. So now, even though you went through that, what can you share with somebody? Because you're 24 years old. And you didn't go through exactly what I went through, but you still went through your own. That's why I tell people, no, there's not something that somebody went through something worse unless they didn't make it out alive. Your story is your story. That's your truth.
Right.
Have you told anybody before now, besides me? Did you have anybody to talk to? Did you feel like you had anybody that you can go and talk to?
I did. I had a few friends who I was close with, who I would share that with.
What did they say? What kind of advice would they give you?
Of course, leave him. But of course, they wouldn't understand. That's typical friend advice. Leave him. But do we really leave him?
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. But any advice I would have to any other woman who's going through it, or I'm not gonna say who's going through it or anything, just when it comes to a man, before you rush into anything or jump into anything, learn who you're dealing with. Learn who you're dealing with. Learn who he associates with. Learn his surroundings, who he's surrounded with, like his parents, his family, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, all of that. Like,
all of that.
Before you jump into anything.
Right. So where are you now in your life as far as you went through that with who you went through that with? Where are you at now as far as relationships and how you feel about yourself and what you're allowing, what you're gonna allow, what you're not gonna allow? What kind of boundaries have you drawn?
I once read this thing where it said that you'll be in love 3 times in your life. Okay. I really can't quote what it said, but I'm at this point, I'm just really focused on myself and my child. Because her father, like, he taught me a lot. Right. He taught me the game. Right. He taught me what to expect and what not to expect. And he also taught me how to be a woman to a man. Like, because of course I didn't know. Well, I guess that's another subject. So,
but I mean, we're being open though.
But
and because he taught, can I expound on? Because he taught you all those things, he possessed all those qualities that you just said that the father should have taught you. Right. But he's also where the abuse came from. So he's like he was like your knight in shining armor and your worst nightmare at the same time. Right. That's what we kind of compared those two before with both situations. They taught you a lot. They treated you a certain way and taught you a lot, but they also taught you a lot. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I thank you. No problem. Thank you for being so transparent. And anytime. This is just the first of many. Like I said, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so we're going to have a lot of things going on. This is kind of, like I said, this has been going through my head. I've been preparing and moving in silence and just not sharing a lot of stuff because I had to get to me. I had to get back to LaRonda and get me right before I can come in and try to advocate and address and help anybody else for real. And that's in any situation, especially this domestic thing, because it's so deep. It's so deep, and it goes further than the last time y'all heard from me in 2015. I promise y'all, if y'all really willing to go on this ride with me, to go on this journey with me of self-discovery, self-awareness, self-love, if you're really ready, go to my page and like Behind the Concealer. My group, So Diva, Survivors of Domestic Violence and Abuse. We're talking about how to get back to being us. Get back to being you. Because when you're going through domestic violence situations, you're conditioned to be something that you're not. And you conform to that and you forget who you were, who you are. But So Diva help you get back to that. So Diva really gonna help you get back to that thing for real. Again, October 1st through October 31st is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm asking everybody, to all the women, not all the men, but if y'all want to, y'all can. Paint your pinky purple, any shade of purple, because purple is the color for domestic violence awareness. So paint your pinky purple or paint all 10 of them purple. Whichever, I don't care. But we got some more stuff coming for real. I've already reached out to some people. Wait, y'all wait for it. Get ready. Like TDJ say, for next weekend. This thing is going down for real, y'all. I'm ready. Removing the mask. Get ready for this thing. Peace.